idle, cycling mode.
This is a HOVERAir X1 Pro drone and it's amazing. It flies itself, it can track you on your bike through the woods and down a road, and it folds up and fits in a jersey pocket. Now you might wonder why on earth I'm reviewing a drone on a channel that reviews bikes. Well, as a solo creator here on YouTube filming bikes, this is potentially an amazing tool to add to my arsenal of cameras. The Sony I'm shooting on right now and my fleet of Insta360 cameras. So yeah, definitely worth me checking out. And as a toy for people who like sharing their bike rides, their adventures on social media, which lots of people do, this is definitely a really interesting and exciting option for those people out there. And there are two things that are amazing and super clever about the drone. Now, I've never used a drone before. I have no idea how they operate, but this thing is super simple. Even an idiot like me can operate it. And then it tracks you. Even when you're wearing a helmet and glasses, the drone can track you. And it is very impressive, and I'm blown away at how well it can track you. And to really test the collision detection feature of the drone with a front and rear sensor, I rode through the woods, a twisting trail through the trees, darting left and right, and the ability of the drone to both track you through such a tough scenario and also not crash into every single tree was just amazing, absolutely blown away. So that amazing ability to track you through the woods and down a road, coupled with the ease of flying and landing on your palm when you finish flying, just makes it super easy to use. And it folds up into a small device that will fit in a jersey pocket. That genuinely fits in a jersey pocket. And I've been going out for a ride with it in my pocket, whip it out on a quiet trail or road, launch it into the air, get some footage, put it back in the pocket and continue. So it does work really well. That's the biggest pro of the Hover, the ease of use and the ability to track you. Now, if you followed me on Instagram, you might have seen the other day I was out filming and shared some behind the scenes and I crashed it quite a few times. But that's more my fault rather than the drone. So the collision detection is amazing when it's going forward. It has a camera on the front and a sensor on the back to detect what's ahead of it and behind it if it's going forwards or backwards. And in the cycle, there are loads of modes in the camera you can choose for skiing, bird's eye and other stuff. But in the cycling mode, it will track you and follow you wherever you go, down the road or along the trail, up to 42 kilometers per hour. So pretty quick, but the quicker you go, the harder the drone has to fly and work, and the more the battery runtime decreases, which we'll talk about in a minute. So that works extremely well. Where it does come unstuck is I've been using two modes, which I really like for capturing me riding a bike, is a dolly track and side track. So the cycling mode, as I mentioned, just follows behind you, which you might have seen on social media, and it works really well, but pretty boring. But dolly track will fly around you, and side track will fly alongside you, and those get much better videos of you riding a bike. But the big downside is there are no sensors on the side of the drone, so when it goes sideways, it's blind to anything in its path. And quite a few times, they've been tracking alongside me, this hit a tree or a signpost or a bush and crashed. So that's a downside. If you use those two modes, side track and dolly track, do expect it to crash quite a bit, or use it in a wide open space with no trees and hedgerows, which here in the UK, where small country lanes, are quite tricky. So yeah, used properly in the cycling mode, it doesn't crash, it tracks you extremely well, but in those other two modes, do expect to use it with caution is my advice. But I've persevered, and the footage, the footage the drone gets is just incredible. So it shoots in 8K up to 30 frames per second from a small gimbal camera there, so it's super stable, really smooth. Even when the camera is tilted over to track you in a strong wind, that camera is nice and stabilized, so the footage is silky smooth. And the image quality is generally very good. It doesn't have the dynamic range of a bigger camera, like an action camera, like the Ace Pro 2. But for such a small device and such a small sensor, it is pretty good. It does work better in bright sunlight than low light or in the woods and tree cover. So definitely use it on a bright sunny day. It's my advice to get really sharp, clear, crispy footage. But for something so small and easy to use, yeah, I can't really complain. As I crashed it loads of times, I've been able to test the durability, and it's a very small, compact, lightweight product, sub 200 grams on the scales, and it perhaps does feel a bit flimsy because it's all plastic, but I crashed it countless times into signposts and trees, and it's still in one piece. Nothing has broken on it. None of the propeller blades have broken. The camera is still working fine. So despite its plastic construction, it's pretty tough. I think the low weight means when it hits the ground, it just bounces. It doesn't have that weight to really impact the ground and potentially break it. A few times the battery will pop off though, but it's in there fairly securely. So yeah, generally in my testing, when crashing, it copes just fine. And yeah, so far, touch wood, I haven't broken it at all. The only reservation around crashing it is there's no lens guard. So that lens is fairly susceptible potentially to damage. The other big downside to the HOVERair is the runtime. They claim 16 minutes from the battery, which is removable on the top, so quite a small battery. But I found in actual usage, it's not all that bad and actually better than you would expect given such a short runtime. Because I've been using it in short bursts. So in my jersey pocket, right out to a trail, fly it for 2 minutes, back in my pocket, ride to another location, another 2 minutes, and you can get quite a good bit of footage from the runtime. And that 16 minutes is hard to get in real life because I found the more challenging the conditions, like the windier it is, or the faster you ride, the harder the drone works and the shorter the runtime. So that runtime, that 16 minutes, that's your sort of max potential, but you can get less than that if you use it in very strong gusty conditions or you ride really fast. In terms of wind, it has a class 5 rating, so up to 24 mph winds, and I've used it in some very gusty conditions, and it does a pretty good job of tracking you, but you can hear it and see it working much harder to really try and keep up with you when you're riding along. So yeah, I'll use it on a calm day to increase the runtime and ensure the drone gets some really good footage of you riding your bike. And the battery is removable. You can buy spare batteries. I've got a 2 battery charger, so you always have 2 batteries spare with the one on it as well. And the battery needs to be small and lightweight for the drone to fly, but I wouldn't mind a bigger, heavier battery to increase the runtime, or have an optional bigger battery that's twice the size and therefore twice the runtime, just to make it a bit longer lasting when you are out filming. So that would be an improvement. I would happily have a bigger battery, like I say, just to give that runtime and still keep the weight and size small and light. And the other downside, it's not waterproof either, so you can't use it in the rain, but you wouldn't use it in the rain anyway. And it comes with a nice pouch to keep it in. So you definitely have to be wary of flying anywhere near puddles or open expanses of water. Interestingly, they've just launched a water version of the Hover as well. It's a very different design, but designed for flying over water. This one isn't. Don't crash into puddles, is my advice. And then the other downside is the price. It's $700, or starting from $700 with kits available. So very expensive compared to what an action camera can cost you. So not a prohibitive price, but definitely puts it into the, for me, it's a justifiable expense as a tool, creating YouTube videos. And as a toy, well, I'm sure lots of people will buy it as a toy to join their fleet of action cameras. So in summary, it is an amazing bit of technology, and I'm genuinely flabbergasted at how easy it is to fly, even for an idiot like me, and how well it tracks you in that cycling mode. Just bonkers how easy it is and how good it is. And the video quality is really, despite its small size, is really good. It's not amazing, but good enough for me to justify using it here on Just Ride Bikes. And I've been using it on a few reviews over the last few days you might have seen. Hopefully you appreciate the angles this drone can bring to my bike reviews. who needs a film crew when you have one of these in your pocket. So yeah, very impressive. Not perfect though. The battery runtime is not waterproof. It's quite easy to crash in certain modes, so it has to be used with caution or in wide open spaces. So finding somewhere you can use it is definitely a challenge. That's probably the biggest hurdle I've had to overcome. Finding nice quiet stretches of road or trail where there's no dog walkers or cars or big hedgerows or trees for a drone to crash into. But the simplicity and the video quality and the fact it flies itself and tracks you, it's just amazing. And I think it's a product I'll have in my kit bag on a full-time basis going forward. And even how that magnet snaps closed, really satisfying. So that is the HOVERair X1 drone. I'll put a link to the website down below if you want to check it out. And if you own one or you're tempted to buy one, let me know by dropping a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the video footage I've been capturing with the drone so far. Do you love it? Do you hate it? So there we go. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again next time.